The struggle for women's suffrage in the United States had been going on for so long that many of its original leaders had died. Alice Paul was only in her 20s when she and other women of her generation decided to step up as the new leaders of the movement. She used her youthful ingenuity, stubbornness, and her values of pacifism and equality to help bring the ratification of the 19th Amendment to life. The stereotype of a suffragette had become one of a bothersome mother who keeps asking when you're going to get married and give her grandkids already. Alice knew she had to change this image in order to gain popular opinion and support. To show a new face of a suffragette, one that we still have today, Alice enlisted the help of a young, popular, well-educated, and well-connected woman to serve as the leader of a march on Washington, D.C. on Inauguration Day for Woodrow Wilson in 1913. This parade leader rode on horseback in a long, flowing cape from the Capitol building to the White House, essentially stealing the spotlight from President Wilson's inauguration. Alice also invited women from other countries, countries that had already extended the right to vote to women, to this march. They all wore colorful capes, carried banners, sang, chanted, conducted skits, and created a headline so big that the whole country could see. Women of all walks of life and all ethnic groups marched together for one cause. Alice's stubbornness helped keep her focused on her goals. Some of the older leaders in the suffrage movement had given up on the idea of a constitutional amendment and had decided to move their focus to the state level. Alice knew that a federal amendment to the Constitution was the only way for the right to vote to be strong enough to be enforced. She kept her focus on that, petitioning members of both houses of Congress, as well as the president himself. She worked tirelessly, going on media tours, participating in protests and letter-writing campaigns, and leading the National Women's Party, which she had co-founded in 1912. These activities led to her numerous arrests, but each time she was released from jail, she went right back to work, never letting anything sway her from her goal. Alice was constantly guided by the principles of pacifism and equality, which were cornerstones of her upbringing. One of the more well-known protests that Alice organized were the Silent Sentinels. Women stood silently on the sidewalk outside of the White House with banners that had a message written publicly and directly to President Wilson. Mr. President, how long must women wait for liberty? Over time, the messages changed, but with all the same theme. This protest led to an even greater increase in public awareness and even to many arrests, but they always remained peaceful. Even after Alice and others were arrested, they remained peaceful and held hunger strikes as a form of passive resistance while in prison. Many people in the suffrage movement also still held classist, racist ideals and wanted the right to vote to be extended only to educated white women. However, Alice fought against these ideals inside and outside of the movement. She believed that the right to vote and the right to citizenship should be extended to all. It was her upbringing that taught her to believe and fight for the equality and equitable treatment of all humans, and it drove her work before and after the right to vote was extended to women. The 19th Amendment was finally ratified in August of 1920, but Alice knew that there was still work to be done. She would spend the rest of her life continuing the fight for the right to vote until it extended to all women and all citizens. She even joined the cause of civil rights in the 1960s. However, she died poor and nearly forgotten in 1977, but she never let go of her values and ingenuity, and she remained a stubborn fighter until the very end. My primary reference for the information I have in this speech is from a book by Tina Cassidy called Mr. President, How Long Must We Wait? Alice Paul, Woodrow Wilson, and the Fight for the Right to Vote. It is an extensive investigation about the culture and personality of both Alice Paul and Woodrow Wilson and the greater organizations of Congress and the National Women's Party in the 19 teens and 1920s. Thank you.